My name is Brittany, and if you're new here, I am a former professional photographer who now looks into and gives feedback on the user experience of photography-related products and applications. We are doing a review today of the jumper camera backpack from the company Brevitē. This company does know at least a little bit about me, as they sent me this bag in exchange for an honest review. I am really excited to dive into this bag and, of course, give all of my opinions. While I was waiting for the bag to arrive, I started thinking about the things that are important when shopping for a new camera bag, specifically a backpack, and I listed out a few points that I wanted to touch on with my review. The first is the price, which is always at the top of my list to check out. After that, I'll talk about the size of the bag as well as the material that it's made out of. Then we'll get into those zippers by checking out all the compartments available. Once we know where all the nooks and crannies are, I'll see how much equipment I can realistically fit into the bag. And finally, I'll touch on how comfortable the bag is to wear. By the end of the video, we should have a well-rounded idea of the bag. We'll be able to see what it does well and possibly where it could be improved. I find it super important to always note that all of the thoughts and ideas expressed in this video are my own, and I came to them through my experience with the Brevitē jumper backpack. If you were to test out this bag on your own, you may have different parameters of judgment, and that is totally cool. All I would like is that you respect my parameters, because I will always respect yours. With all of that said, let's jump into the jumper camera backpack with our first category that isn't actually physically looking at the bag yet: pricing. The pricing of the jumper camera backpack is set at $169.99 for the regular size and $189.99 for the large. In comparison to similar bags boasting a modern chic vibe, build quality, and size like the jumper, its pricing falls on the lower end of the spectrum, making the jumper an attractive option for photographers who like both style and functionality. Brevitē does have free shipping for items over $50, which the bag will definitely hit, so you won't have to worry about shipping. Their products also have a lifetime warranty that covers manufacturer defects, which is pretty standard, but always nice to be made aware of. I am pleasantly surprised by the price point of this bag and the vibes of the company as a whole. The pricing is competitive when compared to other stylish camera small businesses, and the company website and information just feels like they care about what they're building and offering. All of that to say, after I did my initial investigating, I was really excited to receive my bag from the company and get a better understanding of the product. Taking us into our second category, the size and material. The shipping and delivery of the bag was extremely fast. I was not expecting it to arrive as quickly as it did. Actually, my husband and I were about to leave to go to Potbelly, not sponsored, but would love that, when I noticed the package on our stoop. I was so surprised that I took it with us and opened it on the way. I'm just gonna put this out there. I am not someone who ever used a backpack as my camera bag. I am a satchel wearer, a la Veronica Mars. Any backpack I used was specifically for my flashes. The main reason being is because of the sizing. Backpack camera bags to me always felt either massively huge, inevitably giving me more back problems, or so small that they could only hold my smaller camera without any additional lenses. There never seemed to be that good Goldilocks and the Three Bears just right backpack. So when I opened the jumper, I was very happy. Right out of the mailbag, it gave me that just right size vibe. Not because I was opening it in the car where there's limited space, but because it just actually is fairly compact, with the promise of flexibility to hold what I need. This backpack looks extremely manageable from a size perspective. The version of this bag that I have is the regular size, so it's about 16.25 by 10.5 inches and has a volume of about 18 liters. It has a good slim appearance that feels like it won't be overwhelming on the back as well. I do have my more classic camera backpack that I never used for my camera to show the differences in sizes a little bit better. And yeah, it's definitely in the middle range of sizes for backpacks and feels more travel friendly. The material is soft canvas-like texture. It's not rough, it's not velvety or slick. Again, it's right in the middle for me. I do want to note that the bag isn't waterproof. It is water resistant, but it should not be in rain or water for long periods of time. If you plan on this being your backpack for long hikes in wet regions or taking it to sessions that might be in a splash zone, there is a rain cover available for purchase, but in my experience, rain covers end up being a bit of a headache in any sort of fast-paced session environment. So I may opt for one of my waterproof bags if it's a bit drippy out. I do want to test the wet factor and get a sense of how water resistant this bag is, so let's pour some water on it and see what happens. Immediately, we can see the water beads up and just runs right off the green bag material, leaving behind little to no trace of water. The only areas that seem to show water exposure are the zippers, which I expected because they are just the standard zipper material. I like the texture and look of this bag. It looks like a regular backpack, which makes it very unassuming. And I'm not sure about anyone else, but if I'm going out and backpacking around, I don't want anyone to guess that I have expensive gear just hanging around my back. Speaking of our gear, let's take a gander at the comforts the jumper offers to our camera and other goodies we may squeeze in it with our next category, the Nooks. When we dive into the zippers and pouches, we figure out that this bag means business. The jumper has a handful of different sections. The first section that we unzipper has some black meshy pockets. It's a pretty well-sized front pocket, and the zipper is very easy to open and close even with just one hand. The second section opens up to our equipment pouch, and interestingly enough, this zipper has more of a tight seal on it than the previous one. Again, the bag is not waterproof, it is water resistant, so this style of zipper is probably just to keep any water from fully saturating the zipper teeth. This section can still be pulled open with one hand, but it's a bit more challenging, which is a good thing. With this section open, we can see our dividers that we can pull out and set up in almost any way we want. One feature that I initially almost missed is the flap designed to create a division between the top and bottom compartments of the backpack cavity. To create the stable partition, unzip the top zipper of this section and lower the divider. The top of this divider will connect to the Velcro loop fabric running widthwise in the middle of the bag, just above the flap zipper. Once this division is established, you can easily position the removable dividers in any configuration you desire to create cubbies for your gear. I'm not sure if I missed a note about the initial partition divider or what, but I watched all of the videos on Brevité's site and did not see an initial instruction for this, so please learn from me. Moving back to the top portion of the bag where we initially set our partition divider, with this divider in place, we can use this space to store our non-camera and non-lens related items. I'm really not good at doing spatial awareness stuff, but I'll say that this divided top section looks rather roomy, and I'm excited to see what we can fit in here. In addition to the cavity area, there's also a zipper pocket on the outside wall for the storing of more things. Behind that section, there's another water-resistant zipper that's a little bit of a challenge to get open, which again, I like because this is an area where we would store our laptop. And if any water were to drip into this section through that zipper, that would be bad. It's a nice deep space that has some cushion on either side for both comfort and protecting whatever you have going into this area. On the sides of the jumper backpack, there are two pouches. The one on the right is what Brevitē calls the C-zip, and that opens to a window that makes it easy to grab our camera. Then on the left, there is a pocket that could be used for a water bottle, along with a strap and a hook that can come undone for carrying a tripod. There is one more little pocket that feels a bit like a secret because it's on the back of the bag where I don't think I've ever seen a compartment. I think this is my favorite section because it's a surprise and just an extra pocket that's never in the way but always there for you whenever you need it. Since we now have a good handle on the nooks of the jumper, let's put it through the paces by filling this bad boy up with our gear, which is conveniently our next category. So Brevitē features a couple of videos on their website where they show what can be put into these bags, which is great, but I'm a scully. which means I'm skeptical. So I gotta get my hands on it myself and fill it with my stuff. Within this first flap with these small pockets, we can put a couple of batteries, our memory card holder, some hand sanitizer for when you don't know what you just put your hand in. I like doing some artsy things in camera, so I also have a prism and a dead Amazon Kindle that I can squeeze in here. Everything fits, and there's still some space for anything that may spring up in the future. Next up is our equipment area. Truthfully, when I first opened this flap, I was a bit worried that the opening of this section would be kind of small, and that gaining access or fitting my equipment in would be difficult. But I was able to get my D850 with my 50mm lens attached and my 85mm and my 20mm lens comfortably into this section. And there was actually a divider that I didn't put in that could have made an additional cubby to fit either another lens or a flash. This area turned out to be kind of spacious. I do feel like the bendy dividers are a hair too big, which then creates some awkward fittings, but maybe I need to work on my cubby placement a bit better. The C-zip window makes it so that I have easy access to my camera, which is really huge. The part I'm not too sure about would be the ease of switching lenses when on the go, because I'd worry a lens may not be super accessible or might tumble out if I unzip the flap too far. I can't be sure of those scenarios, but knowing myself, if I needed to make a swap, I'd probably find a safe place to put the bag down instead of opting for on-the-go switching right from my back. In this top section that we have partitioned off, I can put a change of clothes and some board games for downtime. I also put a camera battery charger and some additional wires in the zipper pouch of this section. Everything feels pretty stable and secure in the division between my equipment and my personal items. Moving to the second top zipper, I can slide my laptop into this section or some other personal items if I'm not going to need my laptop. I can stash my husband's water bottle on my left in this little pocket because my water bottle is an absolute monster that no bag or car cup holder has been able to contain. I can then attach a tripod using the straps on the bottom of the bag. It was a bit of a struggle to tighten these straps with the tripod in there, so I'm not sure how much I'd actually use this area for a tripod that needs frequent attaching and detaching. And finally, in my little secret zipper pouch, I can put my chapstick and a snack for later. You can also fit your passport very comfortably into this space, but I'm not traveling anywhere soon, so we can just keep that safe at home. All in all, I think this bag does a great job housing basic equipment and some other simple items. A lot can in fact fit in the jumper, but with putting items in the bag comes the question, will it be comfortable to wear? And it is just so funny because wearability just happens to be our final category. To keep it super real, I don't go out too much, so test driving this bag felt like it was going to be a challenge. Until I realized that I could just wear the bag around the house and on walks with my dog in order to get a read on the wearability. I did fill the bag a little bit. I didn't overly stuff it at all, but I wanted to make sure there was some weight in it. As I wore the bag, I found that the straps were very solid and the clips for adjusting did not slip at all. I set the bag straps where I wanted them to fall, and that is where they stayed. The bag is easy to get on and get off, and the cushion on the straps themselves keeps my shoulders from feeling like anything is sitting uncomfortably. I do have really bad shoulder pain if I wear any bag for too long, and this backpack didn't magically cure my issues, but it did help evenly distribute the load on my shoulders. That even distribution allows me to wear the bag much longer and with less pain than what I get out of my satchel. I know I have more testing to do on the wearability, but these first few days of wearing the bag have been going really well, and so far the jumper has become my first choice when needing a bag for long walks. We have some trips coming up in the future, and I'm very excited to put this bag through its paces to see how it performs and see if it can't become my #1 travel bag, which might mean I have an update for you in the future. Overall, this bag feels like an excellent choice when needing something compact for personal excursions. I'm not sure about its potential for working environments that are fast-paced though. If you use a backpack for quick access to your equipment while shooting weddings, events, or sessions, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. I know for me, because I shoot with primes, I need a bag that allows me to have my lenses readily available. So while this bag really wouldn't have worked for me when I was in business mode, I feel like I can get a lot more use out of it now that I'm in casual mode. I want to thank Brevitē again for sending me the jumper camera backpack in exchange for an honest review. I am curious if you own or have been eyeing up the jumper backpack or one of Brevité's other bags. I'd love to hear your thoughts on their products in the comments down below. Thank you so much for tuning into this video. I hope that you enjoyed it and will consider liking, subscribing, and clicking that little bell to be alerted whenever I release a new video. Thanks again, and I'll see you in the next one.